Yo, 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 it's your boy, Seafoam Soldier, and
And Floppy Bob here on an afternoon for once. Ta-da!
yeah, whoop, 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 whoop. I don't think anyone's going to watch because we're doing it at a really random time, but this is the only time we could really do it. I was supposed to have, the original plan was to record with Sis, but she was too ill in the end. She wouldn't stop coughing, so we decided to give it a miss, and Bob very kindly stepped in. So we're still primed and ready to spill the tea on this channel, as we always are. Never miss a sode, as they say. But I've only watched this episode. Actually, I've got quite a good story to start with. So I watched this episode on Saturday with cystitis, and then my dad came over Sunday, and he asked to watch an episode of Drag Race. And so I showed him. I chose, because he's a businessman, I chose the episode from All Stars 2. We have to make their own products. Fish tank episode. Hey Connor, thanks for joining us. And he really enjoyed it. And I thought, I'll show him a clip from All Stars 3. I showed him the Kitty Girl groups. He absolutely loved it. And then he asked to watch the lip sync. He liked lip sync in the other episode. And then when I showed him the thing about Ben going home, he literally cried. It's like you don't even know who this person is, and she's a bit of a dick anyway. Spoiler. But I thought it was really funny. I just looked over, it's like a tear going down his face. I'm like, what is wrong with you? I'm never showing you the show again.
That's amazing. I feel like you've just kind of unlocked some kind of door in his life, and there's no going back really now.
I know, I'm excited. He said he's really excited. He said it's all on Netflix. He's like, oh, is it really? I'm like, yeah, start from season 4. Did not watch seasons 2 or 3. I'm going to come for you. But yeah, he honestly loved it. So I've watched the episode once all the way through, and then the ending twice. And I was planning to watch the whole thing through again, but I've totally forgot. But I wrote some notes the first time I watched it, but they're a little bit briefer than normal. So I may need your help a bit more this time, Bob, to guide us through the episode.
Okay, I'll try. I've watched it twice, but I can't fully remember.
What have you watched?
We'll see. Together, we'll patch it together. It'll be all right.
We'll get there.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
It's going to be borderline amazing.
So yeah, how did you feel? So from the beginning of the episode, we had just had the kind of the bit from last episode about who was going home and who hadn't been sent.
Sorry,
am I jumping?
I don't mean to interrupt, but I was just thinking, hey David, thanks for joining us. I was thinking, should we just tackle the big news at the end first? Because I feel like we're dodging the bombshell. I don't know, I feel like we should go through it first. There's a lot to talk about. I think this is the main crux of it, right? The actual content of the episode is still interesting, but obviously everyone's here for our thoughts on the drama at the end. So I sort of guessed it. I was quite proud of myself. Halfway through, I'm like, Ben's going to pick himself to go. As soon as he's awarded at the top, I'm like, Ben's going home 100%. So I sort of figured it out. And I've got pretty mixed feelings on it. I was thinking about this quite intently last night. I spent 20 minutes just sitting down thinking about it. I've got some feelings. But let's start with you. How do you feel about the situation?
It's strange because I think in many ways parts of it had been kind of spoiled for me. A couple of weeks ago, I wasn't even trying. I was trying to avoid spoilers, and on YouTube I just saw some kind of video thing, and it just kind of started with the actual title of it was Ben exclamation mark question mark. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, come on now, And then kind of as a result, every episode I kind of had this angst and this kind of worry around Ben. I'm like, oh, is this going to be the week? Is she going to send us a line now? And whatever. I'd always imagined it would be a little bit more kind of I volunteer as tribute kind of style. Someone was about to be sent home and Ben was like, no, take me. And so I was kind of surprised. Which I guess kind of happened a bit in a slightly different sense.
Well, interestingly, sorry to interject, but interestingly, he said, so when I watched it again, I thought he said it the first time, but I made sure to listen out for it. He said before the lip sync, he said, I need to win this lip sync. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't that situation at all, really. He was determined to win and send himself. Yeah. Also, High Ward. Sorry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I mean, before watching the episode, that's what I thought. And then, as it came on, we had all these clues, the whole, I can't send Trixie home. I can't send Shangela home. I can't send Kennedy home. You're like, okay. And that combined with the kind of spoilers I'd kind of heard. Say that again, sorry?
He said that before. And also, because I still stand by what I said. I think his biggest thing is, and partly the reason for his decision is, he really cares a lot about how he's perceived by the community. and he's really conscious of appearing a certain way. So that's why every single time he's had to make the decision, he's always said, I can't send this queen home, they're amazing, about literally every single queen. Even like Chi-Chi, he kept saying it about, like, Chi-Chi wanting to go home, and he's like, I can't send Chi-Chi home, like, she brings this fresh energy every episode. It's like, does she know, like, even she doesn't think she brings it.
But I mean, I think in terms of how it was shown, because normally it's, I can't send this queen home, but I have to. And the way this one was, is just like, you know, this kind of constant, oh, I can't send this person home. A minute later, oh, I can't send, you know, the way it was, the editing at least showed us a lot more of Ben definitively saying, I cannot, there's absolutely no way I can. So I think that kind of led into it a lot more. And I think in many ways it had been kind of coming for a long time, and you kind of got that sense that Ben was somewhat unhappy with either how she was being going to be perceived with by kicking queens off, or how she was personally going to feel about a lot of these decisions. So I think it kind of had been coming for a long time, and for me it made quite a lot of sense. I mean, it's one of those things where you're still kind of like, it would have been quite interesting to see her just kind of go for it and get to the end and get the crown. But I think at the same time, it's absolutely fair that, you know, as she was saying, the crown isn't really the important thing to her. Like, I do think parts of it could have been worded differently personally, but I think it's a fairly logical, well, I say logical. In many ways, it seems to fly against logic, but it's a decision that I think made a bit of sense to me, at least. But yeah, I mean, I'm guessing you probably have choice words about this. Because I think I already like her quite a lot anyway. So I wonder how much that coloured it for me. But because for me, it was just like, oh, you know, it's kind of a fairly graceful bowing out. But I did think there was it's something a little bit weird the way she said it, but okay.
Well, I don't know, that sort of sums up well for me. I think it sort of, sums up how I think of her personality generally, to be honest. Also, so I just want to say I totally agree with David and Connor in that it was Kennedy's time to go completely. Also, just like piggybacking off of what you said about when she said, you know, she went through the reasons why she can't send the queens home. Her reason for Kennedy was by far the weakest as well, in my opinion. I think
a million miles.
Yeah, I think she would have sent Kennedy home if she hadn't have been determined to send herself home.
Yeah,
I don't think it was like, I can't possibly send anyone home. Maybe like an episode or two's time, I would have totally bought that, but I don't think that was the reason 100%.
I agree. I think Kennedy from that 5 is the weakest, and I think also, yeah, like, I mean, again, like you said, the reasons were, you know, Trixie had killed it in that challenge, and basically, if it wasn't a weird situation where it was top 2 and bottom 3, Trixie would have been safe or in the top. You know, like, you know, that was an incredibly good performance. Chandler's was also good.
We'll get to this, but again, I have absolutely no idea how the top were chosen. Like, literally,
no.
But we've got so much to talk about. But let's focus on Ben for now. So I was just going to say, like, I think it sums him up in that I do think the decision was genuine. I do think he was really struggling with it. I think he was very conscious. I think he is a nice person, and he was conscious of doing what he felt was the right thing to do. But I also think it shows that I was right in that his biggest fear and his biggest thing he's been focusing on the whole time is how he's perceived by the community. And I feel like it was a decision born off the back of that, really. Like, I don't feel it was totally genuine in the, like, again, like, if it wasn't, I know this is stupid, but if it wasn't televised, like, I don't think for a second he would have made that decision. You know, I think he's very concerned of how he appears. I think the fact, again, we'll move on to it in a minute, but the fact that he chose to bring Morgan back was the exact same reason, because he was worried about the backlash he would have gotten for sending a queen who a lot of people love home so early on. And the fact that Morgan sort of showed that as well, I think she, you know, sort of said that same sort of stuff. I think that's the reason he brought Morgan back, despite her not being the most obvious choice by far, you know, to bring back. So it's tricky. I mean, I do think, just to recap, I think Ben is a nice person. I think his intention with the decision was good, but I don't think it's as good as he made it out to be, you know, like, does that make sense?
I think that's fair. Yeah, I think that's very fair, because, I mean, for example, with the Morgan thing, it's interesting because bringing Morgan back, Morgan it would be pretty much impossible for Morgan to win from this. So it's very clearly, what I did think was kind of interesting about this was Ben's decisions kind of revealed to some degree an understanding that the show is not necessarily about winning. Not only in terms of like taking herself out, but also in terms of bringing Morgan in. And Morgan is not going to win from that position. I mean, it would be ludicrous if Morgan now won. I mean, it would be really funny, but it would be absolutely ludicrous because, you know, if someone goes out first week, skips 5 weeks, comes back, or sorry, skips 4 weeks, comes back, and then has one challenge and then the finale. Like, it would be really ridiculous to win from that setup. And so I think in some ways Ben's decision not only kind of has there's a bit of a sense behind it that the show is mostly about branding yourself and being out there more than it is really the prize, which, you know, is a big part of All Stars. It's kind of the idea of redemption as well. But I think absolutely, I think it's a large part about how Ben is perceived, because in some ways it completes the circle, right? Many people felt that Morgan was kicked out too early, and you know, Morgan hadn't had enough time to show herself. So, and Ben was the person who did that. So Ben bringing her back is very much a kind of, okay, I've kind of tied up the loose ends and everything's pretty and nice now. Okay, bye. And I think you're right. I think a large part of that is about kind of making it nice and tidy for the sense of people feeling it's fair and as a result liking Ben. Even though I think, I mean, I would have chosen Aja to come back personally. But
we'll talk about it in a second, because I definitely agree by a mile. But I was going to say, just piggyback off what you just said, like, I think there's quite a level of arrogance to that as well that I'm sure people have picked up on, in that, like, it's not his choice to make those decisions. It's not his choice to decide who to bring. I suppose it was his choice to bring Morgan back, but like the reasons for it, I don't feel are fair, sort of thing. Like, and the reason he left and everything, like, it's just it's just like, I know I'm trying to like figure out the best way to phrase it. I like it. Like, I think he's like, I don't know. I think it's the one line sort of sums it up where he's like, I'm already a winner, now you can win. I think he said to Trixie something like that. And it's a bit like, it's not your choice. Like, you can't make that decision. Like, you're not a winner. Like, I understand why you feel you're a winner, but like, it's not. You just not have it's frustrating because it is how a show works to an extent, as you just said. But it's sort of saying like you're above the premise of the show. You know, like the winning doesn't matter to you, and you're better than that. And like. And I think David has hit the nail on the head, where saying that like intentions were right, but it's going to be a very strange rest of show. Whoever wins will be considered a runner-up now. So again, Ben's sort of taken away from the winner by leaving now. Like, it's not fair. Like, you wouldn't want to like go if something you cared about, like something that's your life. Like, for me, games design, and then like I had all the same resources as Nintendo. We're developing games at the same time, and then Nintendo like dropped out, and I wouldn't want to win because like it doesn't. I don't know. Like, it would just ruin the win for me completely, and it's unfair on that person.
Yeah, I mean, because basically, if Trixie or Shangela, because it's only really one full episode now until the final, I believe, right? Because season 10 starts on the 20-something,
26th, which my birthday.
Oh, nice. Which I guess means that we have basically 2 more weeks of All Stars. Unless there's
got to be at least 3, right?
I would have thought so. Unless there's some weird crossover between the end of All Stars and the beginning of season 10, like the episodes somehow combine, but that would be messy and weird. I think, unless they do it really well. But basically what that means is there's only chance for someone to win 1 more challenge. Which means that, for example, if Shangela wins, for example, that would take her total up to 3 times in the top, 2 times, maybe 3 in the bottom, 2 times in the bottom. Yeah.
Sorry. Say again.
So yeah, basically, the person basically with the best credentials so far, I guess, technically is Shangela. And so if Shangela wins, that puts her on, or BB. BB's had 2 wins, but that would put basically whoever that person is, that would take them to 3 wins, which, you know, is a decent amount for a fairly short season. But that the rest of the time they've been kind of middling or like in the bottom, and that doesn't really scream winner in quite the same way as,
No.
Ben coming in, winning 4 in a row, having 1 safe, and then having a 5th win. Like that is, I mean, it's a ridiculous record anyway. But
I agree.
I think that's in terms of the overshadowing. That does mean now, like whoever the maximum that someone can get now is kind of a good record, but not one that you'd necessarily think of as an outright winner.
I mean, it's a closer race, which would make it more interesting watch for us.
Yeah,
but the thing as well is like he might not have won. Like anything can happen in All Stars. Like Alaska was dominating, but she came close to not winning because of the breakdown on the last episode. Like you just don't know what could have happened. Sorry, I was catching up on the chat. No spoilers, Ward. But that's what you make a good point though. In that I was going to say that she actually left. I think with she won 6 challenges, right, Ben? So she left with 60K, which is like almost a total prize anyway, to be honest.
Well,
in terms of money.
I think she only won 3 lip syncs, but one of them was the shared one with Shangela. So I think she won 4, sorry, because the last one. So yeah, she would I think have 35,000. I think.
Oh, okay. She only win if you don't win. Only if you win lip sync. You're right.
But she would have got all the prizes that would have come with the top places as well. So I mean, like, not a bad set of things to take away, regardless. Apart from the fact that her booking fee is obviously going to go shooting up, and she'll probably now be on a lot more of the worldwide tours, presumably, because there'd be more of a fan appetite for her, perhaps. But,
definitely.
So I mean, like, she'll definitely cash in that side. But yeah, I mean, I think in terms of, for example, say Trixie or Shangela win, like it's still going to be a legitimate win, obviously, but I think it might be tainted in many people's heads. And like you were saying, absolutely, you might get the sense of it, but you're not Ben. Or Ben would have won, but
like I said, but at the same time, we don't know whether he would have won or not. But that's the same. By him leaving, I feel like he's sort of saying like, I know you didn't mean he won in terms of like the show, but he sort of was saying that in a way.
I know.
Yeah, it's by saying that you're taking away something from the competition and the other queens. Hi, Marcel, by the way. Thanks for joining us.
I totally agree.
Sorry, just from what you're saying, I'm trying to catch up on what you're saying. So in terms of people who I think were obvious front runners, and we might move on to this now, I think Aja should have been brought back and she should have won the whole show.
100%.
I think she's had the best redemption by a mile. I think she's slayed so many challenges and she's done great in the challenges she hasn't slayed in. I think this episode, I've got no idea how she wasn't the top. I don't know how that team wasn't the top team. I don't know how she wasn't the top. She dominated. Her looks were awesome. Her attitude was amazing. Her look was amazing. Her dancing was amazing. She's dominated this whole competition. Aja was a true winner of All Stars 3. And so
100% agree. Yeah. Absolutely. I have enjoyed her way more than I thought I was going to this season. And I mean, just before we started this stream, I was watching her new song, Finish Her.
Oh, I've been meaning to check that out.
Is incredible. Yeah, it's incredible. And I mean, she is hot. Something I hadn't given her as much credit for. Her as a boy, way hotter than I thought. Yeah. Cool. Anyway, but yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's nuts to me that she wasn't brought back. It's absolutely bizarre that she wasn't brought back, because I mean, in terms of the competition as a whole, that was Aja's pretty much only one slip up. I mean, the needy girl thing in the Bachelor, yeah, but whatever.
It wasn't terrible. It was fine.
It wasn't terrible. But then again, I guess it's All Stars. The quality is higher. But this is what does annoy me. If it does turn out that certain people are there because of whatever, I don't want to go into the fan theories about certain things, but if I would hate it to find out later that Aja's place had basically been stolen because of whatever else. And I think I just found Aja was far more interesting for me than and again in the challenge, I mean, her going home last week was ridiculous anyway. I still believe that wholeheartedly, because I mean, she should have been the bottom. But anyway,
of course. But again, that's not a niche opinion. Normally, I feel like my opinion is especially quite niche. But I feel like everyone's like, "What the fuck's going on?" It's making no sense. In fact, Marcel's sums it up perfectly. He's saying, "I'm more upset at Aja not coming back than I am at Ben leaving." That's 100% how I feel. And also says it's funny. He said, "Whoever wins this season has an asterisk next to their name on Wikipedia." because obviously like they're not the true winner potentially.
That's a perfect way of summing it up. I love that. Like, and it's in a very Sacha Velour way. Like, I love that. But no, I think as well. Like, I mean, in terms of the competition as a whole, Aja coming back would have made so much sense. She wouldn't have missed an episode. She would have been up there with the other queens as having been present in every episode. And also, sorry, on a side note, I just want to talk about. I don't quite get what the benefit was of what was the point either way in the challenge of whoever won, because for me it felt like whether the returning girls won or whether the current top 5 won, I feel like the outcome was the same in the sense that what do you get by winning? Like 3 of you are still up for elimination. I didn't understand
at all. So let's just play this out. So if the queens who came through, what are they called? Like the redemption queens, like
the returning. I can't remember the eliminated queens, the returning queens, something like that. Whatever. Yeah.
But so hiding a secret, whatever the band was called, sitting on a secret, which is a good name.
Yeah.
So say if they won, then 2 of them would have been in the top. But then say what would have couldn't have happened because they would choose who to like eliminate from the remaining queens and then who to bring back from their own group. But wouldn't they just choose themselves? Like,
that's
it makes no sense. Like, there was no way they could have possibly won logistically in terms of the show.
No, I couldn't work out at all how that was. I was wondering if it was going to be like we saw last time with Alyssa and Tatiana, where like maybe the top 2 would lip sync for a chance to come back, and then they would make the decision. But either way, that hasn't changed anything. No. I mean, if you think about the top 5, the top 5 girls who won the challenge, Trixie and Shangela both did an incredible job. Kennedy, even though she faltered a little bit and had some harsher critiques, was still good. And yet they're then up for elimination. It makes 0 sense to me. I absolutely did not understand that format.
Let's take it back a step. So, is it just me? I think sitting on a secret stole the challenge by a mile. I think the winning queens group was good and their performance was good as well. But the returning queens, I thought, far outdid the other group. Is that just me?
The first time I watched it, I thought Sitting on a Secret was better. The second time I watched it, I thought Drag Up Your Life was better. So, quite frankly, I apparently do not have a clue.
Actually, Sitting on a Secret was far more clever. Like, generally, like the concept, the song, the lyrics, it was far better executed. Again, like I know Ben did well in the challenge. I think it was smart of him to channel how he was feeling into what he was doing. But it was just so obvious. Like, and it wasn't really funny what he did.
Yeah, I really liked Ben's performance, but I did still think a lot of it it felt rigged in the sense that who are we keeping safe? Who can definitely not be eliminated? BB, Ben. Okay. Like, plus ça change. Like, there's literally like.
But that's that's another thing as well. Sorry, I've got so much to say. That's another thing as well. Like BB as well. Like her choice was just super obvious. Like even in the workroom, like you're literally just being yourself. And it's something we've seen from her every episode. Her look was basic AF. It was just like a leopard suit. That's like something Mel B would have worn. Like it wasn't original in any way. Like it's just super obvious. And again, I feel like a lot of that group, like Ben and BB, the 2 winners, were like the 2 most like 2-dimensional characters they could have been. And like I think it was cool that it was something different for Ben, and that was exciting. But that shouldn't necessarily be an advantage. Like just because Ben always does the same thing and he does something different for once, like he shouldn't win because of that. You know? Yeah,
part of me wondered if it was a kind of case of it being known behind the scenes that that's what Ben was going to do if she won, and so Ben was made to win. You know, I have to wonder because I was just like, I mean, I thought Ben was really great. I was surprised that Trixie wasn't up there.
Yeah, out of that group, I agree completely. Although she was a nightmare in the workroom. So let's catch on chat. You guys are kicking off on the chat as well, which I'm here for. A number username is saying winner Della quitted. She didn't make it to the end. So how is she the real winner? Theoretically, if you don't win a lip sync for your legacy, you're not the winner. You're just safe. Yeah, that's true. Connor saying I love them both. To be honest, I listened to the Winning Queen song more. I think interesting. I thought David saying I thought 4G was great. Yeah, again, so did I. Like I think the only rejected, the only group from the only one from Sitting on a Secret who wasn't outstanding in my opinion was Chi Chi, who I still thought was really solid.
Yeah.
But all the other queens just like stole the show. So yeah, 4G was great. Aja was like a mile ahead of everyone in my opinion. Stole the show. Milks, I loved her look. I loved her performance. I think hers is one I most like sing to myself, like out of all the verses.
I've
I just
got
think
such a great mental image of that now. You in
best to
like
say
high
it.
heel pumps that say like kitty on them.
Of course,
Of
sea,
course.
seafoam kitty.
Seafoam on a secret.
Exactly, I seafoam on a secret. That's my official band name. But I think she was great as well. I think Milk was really, really great in
Yeah.
aspects. They're saying that that's all of the ones in that team. Whereas the other team for me, again, Della and who's the other one I said? BB, I've given my opinions on.
Mhm.
Kennedy's I thought was not good. Trixie's I thought was good. I thought hers turned out well, although she was a total nightmare in the rehearsal. It could have been a lot. I agree with the critique she was given. It could have been a lot better if she had not been such a little brat about it. And who's the last one in that team? Shangela.
Shangela,
Like,
yeah.
meh. Like, it was pretty good. I liked it, but it wasn't like great. I don't know. So I just don't get how. Again, I know it's just all opinions, and I know other people have different opinions to me. But I don't know. I just really thought the other team deserved it, and there were obvious winners in the other team, whereas like there weren't. I don't know. I'm just bitter, you know.
And what I don't know. I mean, I was listening to it again earlier, and what kind of struck me, I was like, Morgan's bit is still like not as good as everybody else's for me. And I was
forgot Morgan totally. Yeah, I agree. She was. I think she was the same as Shangela. Yeah, but I think she's the same as Shangela, and like both of their performances were good, but they're both pretty like meh to me.
Yeah, and so what I find kind of strange is like, you know, it obviously then reveals that it's, you know, the reason behind bringing Morgan back wasn't, oh my God, look at that performance. Isn't it so clear that she's got fire to come back? It was like, Morgan, that was still a bit weird.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, I'm glad that she didn't bust out some like, why you mad though in the middle of a performance.
That's a good point to make though, because I mean, like she had like prepared the song she performed through in the first episode for I guess months beforehand, and I recorded it all and danced on. She's like, this is a perfect song. But then this song wrote in like the space of like 30 seconds, like probably 30 minutes, and like recorded in the space of 30 minutes as well, was far better than Why You Mad Though song.
I think it's a case of the Milk and Alexis Michelle of apparently like nobody told her. Like someone should have told her that was bad, but nobody told her.
God, I know. I've got something to talk about. So let me catch you on the chat again, because again people are kicking off. Hey Jackster, thank you very much. Everyone's thinking Milk was great. He's Vladimir. Hey Vlad, Vladimir's favourite was Milk. David saying, are they rigging the show? Connor saying Milk look was amazing. That's why I wanted her to be like all season amazing. I agree, because she was really pretty, but also totally odd and weird at the same time. That's the pinnacle of Milk to me, like how she should be.
It was proper like weird 90s pop group kind of like thing. Like she had that proper kind of like random 90s girl group that was made in someone's garage. Like she had that look, and I was like still weird with it. And I thought that was exactly. That's exactly what I was looking for from Milk all season.
And David saying Shangela was just being herself again, which I agree completely. Again, I don't know. Master saying, I think the difference was that Team 1 did their individual verses and Team 2 played off each other and worked more as a group rather than solo. See, I didn't see that. Again, I've watched that twice, especially the second time, with that critique in mind. But I didn't really see that. What am I missing?
There was a bit of it. So there was the interaction between Shangela and Ben, which was kind of fun, and like with like little sparkles, like, you know, to kind of signify, like as if this is really academic, like this kind of break from, you know, like kind of goth kitty to sparkle kitty. As you can tell, incredibly academic right now.
But she decided on her sparkle kitty straight away, though. It's not as like, oh, she's goth, so I'm going to be sparkle. We can make this whole thing together.
They played off it well, because, you know, when Ben was finished, sparkle kitty came in, and there was glitter thing, and then like Ben had a few little vocal bits where you know they're like drag up your life, and then like Ben was like fine, you know, like a few of those little ad-libby bits, which, you know, were I mean it's not going to set the world on fire in terms of excitement, but it was nice. It was a nice touch. So I mean, but I still don't get it. I think the thing that I just don't get about this the most is why, for example, it wasn't the team who wins all of, you know, if the winning team win, they're all safe and they choose one person to bring back. But I guess in terms of time constraints, you can't do that. But maybe the next episode you could then get rid of 2, or, you know, something. But what I just didn't get was like they won, and, you know, like Trixie and Shangela got pretty good critiques from the judges, and then they were up for elimination. And then like the losing queen, the returning queens, didn't get really enough critiques that we could then be like, oh wow, well, you know, the judges obviously want to see more of this, or, you know, well, or at least it wasn't shown as much. Maybe it did happen on the stage, but it just, I don't know, it just felt a bit like rigor mortis.
I completely agree. Let's talk about this. First of all, hey Omar, you better be being ironic with that Ben de la Christ thing, because if you're not, I'm banning you from this damn channel. What is BB? So how are the judges loving BB so much? Like, how? It's obviously not rigged at this point. She's not the mole because the whole twist has been revealed. So
I don't know. Yeah,
I just don't like. What are they seeing? Like, is it? I don't know. Like, it's just making no sense to me. They're just having a time of their little lives with her, and
that's what makes me think. That's what makes me think there's still a twist with her coming, because I feel like she's been so. Otherwise,
there's not going to be a twist at all. I promise you. Not
really?
with BB. Okay. Not with BB. No twist with BB whatsoever.
I mean, maybe it is just the fact that they don't want to have, you know, the embarrassment of a previously winning queen coming like 6th or something. But I mean, worse has happened. Like Ginger was in the top 3, and then she went out like quite early in All Stars 2.
Yeah,
but I mean,
it just seems so over the top. Like the judges' reaction to her.
Right, and it's just like, I mean, don't get me wrong, there've been some of her performances that have been very good, and I think like I really enjoyed her talent show one.
I agree completely.
I thought she was pretty good in some of the other ones. In The Bachelor, I don't get why she was safe. Personally, I didn't think she was that entertaining. Who else? Yeah, I think that the Diva Awards, I just thought she was meh. She was good. I mean, like, she was good, but it's also like BB doing Diana, which is basically Diana Ross, which is basically just like be yourself for a bit.
And then for the lip sync, it's the same thing. She literally did the same thing for both of the performances. Again, I don't know Diana Ross. I'm sure she did it well, but she literally just stood there and like she gave good face, but it wasn't outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, I would a million times rather have Chi spinning around and doing her Patti LaBelle just forever, that rather than pretty much anything I've seen from BB so far, really. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the thing. I think she's an amazing queen in many ways, but I just don't get the kind of what feels like to me disproportionate amounts of praise.
Exactly.
Because I feel like, I mean, even things like the dress, where everyone's like, "Wow, that dress is amazing." Like, I didn't think it was that disco. Like, I definitely thought Aja's was far more. I was far more interested by Aja's as a look.
Exactly.
And for me, it very much felt like a bit of a character assassination almost. It was very much like, oh no, let's come up with reasons why she wasn't particularly good. Because all the things they were kind of reaching for, I was like, I don't really see. Anyway, I mean, we're going back to a previous episode. But I mean, all of this comes to why I'm a bit underwhelmed by her being there so far.
But also, I've heard interviews with Aja since that episode, and she said, like, yeah, she admits that, like, it might have not been spot on for the time period, but she said, like, that's what I would have worn to it. Like, if I was born in that era, that's what I would have worn to Studio 54, 100%. And I stand by that. And because of that, I don't regret what I did at all.
No, and I found it far more visually interesting than a lot of what was on stage.
And technically superior as well in execution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, yeah, that's again why it still is bizarre to me that Aja was not brought back, because she is clearly the queen who still, I mean, all of them have something more they could show, don't get me wrong, but I mean, I feel like Aja is one who would take that and really run with it and would be really worthy of being in a top 4, top 3, you know, whatever situation. Whereas it does feel a bit unfair to bring Morgan back to basically be like, here's one more episode, and then like you might get kicked off next episode.
Yeah, well, I think I said it before, but to me, it just seems quite selfish. Like, she's bent to me. This is my view on it. I'm saying I feel that like Ben's bringing her back so that Ben can look better and feel less bad about, you know, what he saw as, you know, he didn't have that would be perceived by the community. So to me, that comes across as selfish. Whereas objectively, Aja's the one who most deserves to come back. Like, she has the most chance of winning. She's the one who's like shone throughout every episode pretty much. Like, she's worked so hard. She has the most fire for like passion for the competition. Like, it's Morgan's fault she went home. Like, Morgan deserved to go home. I know it would have been nicer for her to have been around longer and all that, but she went home because she did something wrong, whereas Aja didn't, and that's unfair.
Yeah, and I think as well, I mean, I feel like Aja, in terms of her point of view as a drag queen is far more like has a real eye to the future. I mean, like her live performances, like she's doing a lot of amazing things. Like visually, she's incredibly clever. Her references are tight and really new. And yeah, I don't know. I find her so much more interesting as a drag queen than I do some of the others. I mean, it's opinion, but I mean, why are you mad though?
I know, right? Well, the chat's agreeing, and I think who said it? Yeah, Marcel was sort of saying the same thing, like piggybacking off what you just said, in that like BB's run out of tricks. She had to snatch her own wig off for attention in the lip sync, and that didn't even work, you know. Like whereas Arja's like got a million tricks up her sleeve, you know. I feel I don't know for sure, but from what we've seen, she does. Whereas BB's like she showed us the best she can do in episode 1. To be fair,
yeah.
You know, she's been like a slow decline since then.
Yeah, I mean, I think what would really seal, because I mean, I've enjoyed the season overall. I wouldn't say it's been my favorite season so far, but I don't want to sound super negative. I realize I'm just like fuck everything, but
no,
like,
that's more me, to be fair. Sorry, I'm thinking.
But like, I genuinely feel if at the end of the season BB wins, I feel like there would be a bit more of a sense of outrage. I feel like a lot of, I mean, I personally would. I feel like it would be quite a drab end to the season. Casually painting your knob there.
Yeah, sorry, I have, yeah. Well, because I need to like, wait for this side to dry, so I might as well do it now. What was I going to say? But what I feel like the winner of All Stars 2 was filmed before, like when before the show was aired. So I don't know, like hopefully that's not going to be the case this time, and because I feel like the community shares a pretty similar opinion generally. Yeah. So if a finale is filmed after the series, or like, you know, this sort of point or whenever, then hopefully Ru won't be stupid enough to crown BB.
Yeah, we'll see. Unless BB has some amazing week next week and then in the finale. But I mean, for me, that would be enough.
I agree completely.
I'm interested to hear your thoughts about the quote unquote drama of everyone coming back and talking to each other, because I mean, I feel like apart from how ridiculous so much of it was, I kind of have to admit I love that like everyone's just like, oh my god, you did this, why did you choose this? And Chi-Chi's just sat there like, I'm cool.
Oh, Chi-Chi's so funny. I know I say every damn episode, but I love Chi-Chi so much.
I love her.
I love it. Like honestly, my heart melted when they talk about who they should bring back and why. And she's like, let's be real. Don't bring me back. Like my time's over. Like I need some more cooking time. She's just so sweet. I love her so much. Like, she's so real. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was incredibly sweet, and it was so funny. Like, you know, she was like, "I don't want to be the Roxy this season."
It's so funny. Yeah, a bit of so
good. Like, don't carry on beating the horse. The horse is dead. Like, just
exactly.
Classic lines coming from her. Like, and I think that was what was so fun, because I got the feeling that her coming back was like, cool, yeah, let's just do this challenge. Like, I'm not absolutely nothing's attached to this for me. I'm not planning on coming back. I'm not like pinning my hopes on doing something with this. I just want to have fun. This one episode, and it showed.
Yeah, and again, I always say it, but like, because she is really fun to watch, but especially this episode because there's like nothing in it for her. There's no pressure. She was just having such a good time, and it was really fun to watch. The only thing that's like questionable for me is a lyric, because the whole song's about her dick, obviously. Gagging all the children with my secret, like that was the only questionable line. So she'll show my dad as well, who doesn't know like what that would mean. I'm like, oh no, like should I explain to him like what she means by that?
I think it's best just not to even try, because the further you get into that, the more difficult it becomes.
Exactly. So just think that
first thing that went through my head was the whole like Milk and Kennedy like touch the children thing. Like,
yeah, I know. Same
here. I'm like, I can't take any of the rest of this seriously. Particularly if I'm right, I might be remembering this incorrectly, but I have a feeling that pretty much soon after that happened, there was like a scene of Ru laughing. I'm like, Ru, don't make this any worse.
I know, it's bad.
Like, just pretend that line didn't happen.
That's what I was doing.
No,
sorry, let me start with the chat first of all.
This
has been, I turned that bit of painting's thrown me off a little bit. Connor said he needs to see Aja perform so badly. She's so good. Yep, I totally agree. I think again that's a sign of a winner. In like, who do you most want to see? Like, who do you most be likely to pay for to go and see? And by far, Aja for me. Connor thinks it's between Trixie and Shangela. Yeah, I get that at that point. I don't really want Trixie to win, which is something I never thought I'd say, but I don't, based on the attitude, which is something we'll talk about in a bit. Marcel saying, I feel like one of them has to kick off and win every episode left to make people feel like they deserve the crown. That's a good point. David said they were called all the finalists winning. I don't know if I do that anymore. I know that with normal seasons, but I don't know if I do that with All Stars anymore. But if that's the case, then cool. I must say, I find it funny that so many people complain about the show rather than appreciate the great things it's shown. Yeah, I don't think people are like. I don't know. I haven't really seen people complain, but I'm not like fully involved in all areas of the community. But like, this is why I like doing stuff like this. Like, it's just so much fun to like. The whole show's over the top and ridiculous, and that's why it's fun like talking about like this. You know, just going through it and giving our thoughts and opinions and getting involved in the conflamery of it all. You know, at the end of the day, none of it matters. We're still loving it. We're still having the time of our lives watching it and getting involved. And yeah.
No, it's true. I realize it does sound like I'm like pissed at this show. Overall, like there's a reason I keep on coming back to watch it. It is really great entertainment and like
great TV.
It's amazing. Yeah, and it's amazing to see. I think this is what I find really interesting about this as a reality TV show is like the people who are involved in it. I mean, obviously it's a reality TV show at its heart still. Anyway, it has that part of it to it, but the people who are on it are incredibly talented, which is I think something that you don't always get as much with reality TV.
Very true.
You know, so it's, I mean, yeah, I think especially drag queens in terms of as performers, like the range of skills they have is ridiculous. Yeah, it was a strange episode for me in many ways because I felt like it overall was kind of about three main parts. Really, you've got all that kind of like initial drama, you've got the actual performance, and you've got the kind of long drawn out bit near the end of all the kind of drama of who's coming back and what have you. I mean, I was a bit surprised to see Milk reference Alexis Michelle in that kind of like, did she not watch in the words of Alexis Michelle?
We need to talk about that. Wait, sorry.
In the words of Alexis Michelle, did you not watch the show? Like, you know, it just...
I know. We're going all over the place though. Hold on. Let's go back to the beginning with the confrontation about everyone coming back. On that note, Omar, let me know what you said to Kennedy and what her reply was. So people are talking about this at the moment. That's why I want to stay on this part. So Marcel's saying Morgan went a bit overboard. Sure, Ben chose her because she was scared of what Morgan might do, but it's not like Morgan was amazing in the talent show. So let's talk about this confrontation first of all, Morgan and Ben.
Yeah.
Okay, I think the main. I've got a few things to say. Firstly, I agree with what the Queens were saying. Like, and Ben should be aware of this, even if he's not fully involved in the community. Like, for Morgan, that was super calm. Like, that was not Morgan angry or pissed off. That was like her just like chatting generally, which I know like appears to be a bit aggressive and confrontational. But like, if you know anything about Morgan at all, you'd know that like just her personality, that's sort of her base level. That's what we've seen from the show so far as well. It's not like, even if Ben just knew her from this season, she's always been like it, really. She's never been like a ray of sunshine, has she?
It's true. That is Morgan on a first date. Like,
exactly.
You know, and I mean, yeah, I think both sides, there were very fair things that were coming from that, because I mean, I personally, I mean, I did think she was one of the, probably, I found her weaker in many ways in the first episode than Chi-Chi. And yeah, I mean, I think I definitely see why she was hurt by that, because I guess, especially if you've really prepared yourself, you've not been on the show since season 2, you've really come back with this fire, you know, you're going to perform, and then you're cut down in the first episode. I think I can totally see why.
No, you know what? Like I think I don't agree. I think if she went home for being the worst, she had no sorry. If she went home. Sorry, I was trying to think of how to phrase it. My brain's like just died. Okay, let me phrase it differently. Let me come from a different angle. So I agree with the crux of her argument, which is if what Ben said was true, in that they should base their decision on who to go home on the judge's critique and who did the worst from that, just based on the judge's critique, Chi-Chi got worse critique than Morgan. So her whole point was Chi-Chi should have gone home instead of me if what you're saying was true. And I think she was pissed off that Ben for not being honest about his reasons for sending her home. And that's the part I agree, because that's what I said in my review of the episode. It's like, I don't think Ben's being genuine in what he's saying. I think he's trying to appear, like I've always said, in the best light possible to the fans and the other queens and whatever. I don't know. So I agree with that part of Morgan's argument, but like, I do think she should have gone home that episode. So like, I don't know. But I think
Yeah.
I like that Morgan focused on that. I think she's intelligent. She's like, this is a bit I'm pissed off at. I felt like you weren't being genuine. And Ben didn't really ever say anything to counteract that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think on that, yeah, definitely. Like, because I think when that argument was happening, I think, yeah, absolutely, Ben didn't really offer a proper thing. You know, I mean, Ben did say, "I thought you were the weakest," but again, that doesn't really come back to why Ben said Ben was going to choose people. Yeah, how Ben was going to choose anyone. So, I mean, yeah, I totally got that. I'm glad they eventually patched it up. I was wondering how much of it was like additionally played out later, but I mean, I can see why that would shake you, especially if you've been doing incredibly well, and then suddenly someone comes back and calls you a hypocrite, and you know, and kind of is quite confrontational, even if that's not particularly far from Morgan. It's still, I can see how that would rattle you.
No, I agree. That's what I was going to say. Is the other side is like I understand Ben's reaction in that regard. I do think, you know, it's quite, even though it wasn't her intent necessarily, I do think Morgan came across confrontational, quite aggressive, and I understand someone who is sensitive like Ben would have been shaken up by that. But I don't think, I think part of it is his own fault because he wasn't genuine in his decision. He'd just given her an answer. Like, even if it was just, you're right, like Chi-Chi got worse critique, I think it was actually this reason I sent you home. I think that would have been fine. Like, so I think part of the reason he was so cut up about it was his own fault. It's tricky. I'm not saying 100%. Like, I think I said Morgan was out of line a little bit, you know. But again, it's reality TV shows over the top. It's drag. It's supposed to be ridiculous. Yeah. So sort of like conflicting thoughts in my head, really. But I do think it wasn't all Morgan and Ben was a victim. You know, I do think Ben had himself to blame a little bit.
And I was really hoping it wasn't going to be played out like that by the fans themselves. I was hoping it wouldn't just be seen as like, oh, woe is Ben. Like, this is, you know, how dare she come in and be at all a little bit confrontational? Because, you know, there is understandably a bit of hurt there and confusion. And I think particularly as we saw later with Morgan just likes things being straight down the line and on the table. You know, people saying to Morgan, like, I chose you because of this. And Morgan be like, oh, okay, cool.
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
I don't agree, but cool. And,
but that's it. But if she had a reason, she could have done that. But I think a lot of the thing. But I think David's right. That's sort of the other part of my argument is like, do they need to fully justify why they get rid of someone? No, I don't feel they do, and that's why I feel like Morgan took it too far because she was demanding this, and Ben doesn't have to really justify it if he doesn't want to. You know. Sorry, Bob. I should say as well. Like, do you have your internet's a little bit choppy? Do you have?
Is it?
Yeah. Perhaps.
I'll try. Give me a sec.
It's okay. Just do it in the background. Just if you can. It's not too bad. It's just I think the audio is mainly fine. It's just the video is a bit delayed, so it's not the end of the world.
That's just how I look. I actually my whole face moves in delay. That's actually just me.
We're trying to hide that though, Bob. You know, I've always known that about you, but I've tried to.
I appreciate the effort. One moment, I'm just going to shut down a few things. Why is Netflix open still? Okay,
that's so, why you're watching Drag Race in the background, aren't you? You literally can't get enough.
I'm that hooked. Like, hook me up to the system. Like,
exactly.
Attach it to my veins. Is this any better at all? I mean, I can still see on mine actually. It's a little bit jumpy occasionally.
It's still a bit jumpy. That's cool. Just like, is there anything else you can do in the background? Just do that. But we're carrying chatting over the top. So sorry, my notes aren't really making much sense. I haven't really been looking at them, I suppose. So I felt like we covered the Morgan and Ben confrontation. Who was the next one?
Who did that leave us with? So I can't remember the exact order, but we had, for example, Aja Bibi. And I mean, I did think that considering Aja was calling out Bibi for cutting her off and not letting her finish, it was a little bit shitty that Bibi then didn't let her finish, talking about not being able to finish. It was a bit like, come on now.
Yeah. I wrote down as well, like, Aja's impression of Bibi was perfect.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I think that was what was kind of ridiculous about all this situation. But you know, I feel like, again, Aja is kind of like, cool, whatevs. Like, she kind of gets it and is happy to move along, even though, yeah, it does bug me because, yeah, like we were saying earlier, I feel like Bibi being in the top 5, that should really, for me, be Aja. But there we go.
Exactly. Yeah. was I going to say? Yeah, again, I think it's similar in that, like, I feel like BB didn't really like justify her decision properly.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't. It's the same sort of thing, and I think I would have been frustrated. But I feel like, again, I really respect Arja because she was so chill about it. She's sort of was able just to put it behind her and move on. I feel like that's the sort of person she is. Whereas I would have been frustrated if I was Morgan or Arja just from the initial conversation, because I feel like they weren't really given any proper answers. Again, like I don't about the dress, for example, I do agree to an extent. I don't think it would have made a massive difference if she had mentioned that Arja helped her. But I mean, she was that. If from what I can remember, she was directly asked by RuPaul, like, "Did you make the dress?" or something like that. It was a question similar to that. So if you're asked directly, which obviously the producers asked Ru to ask a question like that, then at that point you say, "Oh, you know, this person helped me." So I do feel like it was a bit out of line, but would it have really made a massive difference at the end of the day? I don't know, probably not.
Yeah.
But not letting her speak in the thing was a far bigger issue. It's just really disrespectful, in my opinion. I feel like Arja deserves an apology for that, or at least an explanation to, I don't know, just something really. But again, I feel like I've said this all along. I think it's worked in some occasions, but it's really grating on me now. I feel like BB has an air of being like above everyone.
Yeah.
It's just disrespectful. It's just not fair on the other contestants.
Yeah, and I think especially given the point in, I mean, the kind of the weird like one-on-ones for like, why am I going to save you? I mean, they're a little bit weird in concept, really. Anyway, like quickly beg me to tell me why you should stay, which is a bit strange anyway. But I get why they exist. But I did think if you're going to have those, you know, I mean, at least be upfront with it, like Fifi was in All Stars 2, where she was like, I've made up my mind. I don't really want to talk to anyone, and have someone beg me to stay. I mean, I don't think Fifi phrased it really well last season, but I appreciated the idea behind it. Whereas I think BB kind of pretending that she was gonna like have one-on-ones with people and get to the bottom of who she was gonna keep seemed a bit pointless when she then spoke over Arja and basically was like, you've already, you know, was already talking in the past tense about like, oh, you know, you've come so far and, you know, you've done so well on this show, or, you know, and all of these kinds of things that started feeling very much like, oh yeah, your time's up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so should we move on to, so the other one is Forgy and Shangela, which I have the exact same view on, in that Forgy never apologized to Shangela. I think she did the best in that she explained where she's coming from. She said, like, I was angry and I came for you. And like, that was good that she explained that and it made sense, but she didn't then say, and I'm sorry for that, you know?
Yeah, there was that final step missing. Yeah. Yeah, I think as well, I got the feeling that like Thorgy was kind of like, as much as she was a bit like ugh in that moment, Thorgy then went on to do Cardio Kitty and was like having her life. Like, so, you know, I think Thorgy was kind of like blah, whatever after it, you know, and I think Shangela as well is, you know, above having some of the ridiculousness of all of that. Whereas the milk and Kennedy one I thought was kind of ridiculous. I just love that it turned. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, let's just stay on this for now because I feel like we should talk about the. Sorry, that's work stuff. In chat in a second. I feel like after the extended conversation about it, I feel like it was Trixie. Trixie was the one who made the biggest mistake in all of this. Like, Forgy was shocked that Trixie put the note up, and I don't know. Like, I agree. I feel like obviously, if I'd written, I wouldn't have written a note. But if I had written you that note, and if you had put it up, I would have felt pissed off at you because, like, obviously that note was meant for you. It wasn't meant as to be seen by the person I'd written it about, or even the rest of the queens. Like, it was a joke between you and me.
Right.
And it just goes without saying, right? I wouldn't have to write on the note, "Don't show this to whatever mutual friend it is," you know?
Yeah.
So I thought it was a dig. I feel like, I don't know why. I agree with what we said previously. It could have been the producers asking her to put it up or whatever. I don't know. But like, if we take all of that off the table, I feel like Trixie is the one who's most at fault in this whole saga.
Yeah, it was a stupid thing to do, and I think she knows that. But I think it's just, I mean, yeah, especially in the heat of a competition, you don't really want a situation where you're provoking other queens or making queens feel as if you're coming for them, even if you're not. And yeah, I mean, it was stupid. Although this does remind me that next time I come to your house, I'm just going to draw like a dick on your mirror and like misspell your name. And
You always do.
I always do, but you know, this time it'll have a reference point.
It will. Fine, I can appreciate it. Yeah.
You won't try and get me arrested this time.
Yeah.
So, but it's I think that's what I found. Like, was just a bit. Yeah, I mean, I could see why Trixie was pissed. Like, oh, this fucking no again. But at the same time, it's like, Trixie, it is your fault, and that does kind of need to be resolved because, you know, as much as it seems ridiculous to drag that out for another episode, is like actually Thorgy hadn't really consented to that being up, and you know, it painted Thorgy in a bad light, even though that was a private joke, really, between friends or whatever. So
yeah. That's something I feel. Connor's saying that, to be fair, it was the wall in Trixie Station, but it's still a public space. It's like if it's an open plan office, you're not going to put like a joke picture of a colleague up in your station because if you're going to walk past it, are you? Like,
right?
It's different. It's not as if it's an enclosed office or, you know.
Yeah. If it was like in Trixie's bedroom, fair. But yeah, like the workroom is a bit kind of like, come on. But oh well, you know, it happens. They made up. And it's
exactly. Yeah. No. Exactly. I suppose so. Sorry. So what were you saying before I cut you off?
Which time? No, I'm joking. I always cut you
sorry.
off.
I'm really
sorry.
Cut
you off. I cannot talk about that in the slightest. I'm always the one cutting you off. Was that when I was talking about Milk and Kennedy?
Yes. What you saying?
Yes. I mean, just kind of like, and the Oscar goes to like.
I know, right? What is going on with it? Yeah.
I kind of loved it and hated it at the same time. It was so like. It's like, but nobody told me I'm a dickhead. Am I a dickhead? Cry. Like, it's just, I don't know. If you needed that confrontation to have that, to have a mirror into your soul, then, but you know, I think my favorite thing was like Milk unironically referencing Alexis Michelle.
I know.
Everyone completely dragged Alexis Michelle for that and was like, this is absolutely fundamentally ridiculous. And then I love that like Milk's level of self-delusion was enough to see Alexis Michelle doing that and think that was okay.
I know. He has like a completely different reference point for that whole incident than literally everyone else has. Yeah, it was bad. But on the bright side, he did seem a lot more chilled this episode. Yeah. I do like. Again, I think it's what we're saying about the season 10 queens. I like that Eureka was like, I was pretty shit on my season. My attitude was shit. Like, I've really worked on myself. I'm going to come back and show people who I really am. I'm like, awesome, love it, here for it. And then Milk was like, I'm going to take a serious look at myself. Like, I think it was a bit of a reality check for him.
Yeah.
And I like that he had to sort of pride's maybe not the right word, but like he was able to do that. He says, well, look, maybe I have been in the wrong. I'm going to take a look at myself and, you know, figure some shit out. And that made I respected that.
Yeah, me too.
And again, like I think, again, I feel like, again, I know we talked about Ben a lot, but I don't know, I just feel like it's something, I mean, obviously it's ridiculous what happened between Milk and Kennedy and the crying and everything, but it still obviously really affected him. And he was able to overcome that and absolutely slay the challenge. Like, to me, that's what a winner does. Like, a winner, I think Ben's approach was quite sensible in some ways, but I feel like Milk's approach was a far superior approach, but he was able to overcome it and then like still absolutely slay the challenge. Like, I just really, really respect that.
Yeah, me too. It gave me a reminder of why I loved Milk in season 6, because it was that kind of unabashed fearlessness with being so different. Which in season 6, you kind of got the feeling that Milk didn't necessarily think, I'm going to absolutely like win all of this. It was very much like, here's me as a showcase. I don't apologize for doing this. You know, like coming out as boy RuPaul, or like having a beard, or like any of the other choices that Milk made. And I think what was kind of what I didn't like as much with Milk in this season was that I felt like it was a lot more of like, well, obviously I'm going to win, and there's this kind of like this almost overconfidence that wasn't necessarily being backed up in quite the same way that I was expecting. And so I think it's good now that at the end we kind of got that moment of seeing Milk actually do what Milk does best, and be very, very good at it.
It definitely ended on a high, which is good. I think she deserves it. And Marcel sums it up perfectly. He said, Milk really thought she was lovable underdog when really she was the mean popular girl. Like, that's sort of like how it was this
That's
season,
good.
right?
Literally, does this guy have a Twitter account? And if not, like, what? This is perfect. These are like
Marcel,
perfect little sound bites. We have like a little ticker tape at the bottom.
Exactly. Even better. Do you have a camera and microphone, and do you want to get involved next stream?
Right.
You're a wise man. Well, I feel like, God, there's been so much to go through. We've been going for an hour at this point. Like, what? I think the other big thing we've got to talk about is Trixie's attitude, I think, which we sort of touched on a little bit. We haven't talked about.
I think it's one of those weird things because I think Trixie's sense of humor is in and of itself quite abrasive, and I think I mean
this
no. But I'm coming around. This isn't the end. No. I just I'm probably going to agree with you on this. I feel, but so I think when Shangela was doing the whole people who haven't met before need to know, but like this isn't the first time that Trixie's met someone in her life. So at the same time, I was like, Trixie, like recognize that this isn't a challenge. Like just take a little breather, and kind of like when Bob in season 8 had that whole thing with Lucian Piani, and you just have to like at that point take a step back and be like, you know what, okay, just listen for a sec. Like Adam Lambert is not coming for you here. If anything, he's also going to be a judge later in the episode. So
I know that's always the most ridiculous from like an intelligence standpoint. Like you need to win this person over. What are you doing? But I was just going to say, I need to check this in a second. What I was going to say is, like, to me, it's similar to. Like, I don't think like humor is an excuse. Like, I don't think it comes from a place of humor. It's like I think that we had it with Violet in season 7, where she's like, "Oh, like I'm like me seeing bitchy and like above it is just my humor. Like, it's not really how I feel. It's just like people understand. It's just a character, my sense of humor." It's like no, like you're just using that as an excuse. Or like when like you get bitchy guys or girls who are just like, "Oh, I'm just being funny." It's like no, you're just being a bitch. You're saying it's funny and using an excuse. To me, Trixie's like that. It's like there was no humor in what Trixie was saying. It wasn't. I think I'm not in extremes necessarily, but like I could be pretty like deadpan and stuff. But it's obvious it's a joke, and it's like there's no reason for me to say it other than it being a joke. Whereas Trixie was just saying how she felt, and then using like her deadpan humor to be like, "Oh, that was my humor." I was like, "No, it wasn't. You weren't trying to make a joke. You weren't trying to be funny. You're just like, I don't want to hit this note." Like,
yeah, and I think it was just because I think it was like picking the wrong battles with those bits of humor as well. It wasn't kind of in like another challenge, because actually I thought like Trixie's comebacks were quite funny, but not in the context of like where you've got a judge who's like, for fuck's sake,
Well, no. Some of them, some of them may have been comebacks, but some of them just genuinely weren't. Some of them like you really need to hit this note. And she's like, no, like I'm not. That's not going to be good or whatever. It's like,
I'm going to go lower, and it's like, no, like it was like actually, I don't really feel like you should be calling the shots as much on that. Obviously, it's
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not a joke, but she's using like humor as an excuse to. But I'm saying it's not a joke. You just don't want to try and hit that note, which you could have easily hit. Like I can tell what your range is. You could have hit that note, no problem.
Yeah. And it's a shame because in many ways overshadows how well Trixie otherwise did in the challenge. And I mean, I don't know if that was used as well as the justification by the judges for her not being the top 2, but I mean, otherwise it seemed quite strange that she wasn't in the top.
Agree.
She was up for elimination after that. At least have her safe or something.
I agree completely. Yeah, made no sense. I mean, that's a tricky thing. I mean, it's a bit of a Tyra Sanchez situation, I suppose, in that like she was a nightmare, but she still slayed in the end. But I do think a lot of it, in this instance, is down to the production of the song. Like they were extremely kind to all the queens, I guess. Like they could have made her verse sound worse because I don't know. Like she gave them what they had to work with, and it wasn't what they necessarily wanted, but they were still able to make something great out of it, So I don't know, like it's a tricky one in terms of how I feel about it.
Yeah, I think it's weird, but I think at least probably learned her lesson. If nothing else, it's going to add towards some kind of arc for her, like story arc, where she's had some tough times, but she's going to come back and be nice. And I don't know, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I mean, she's incredibly talented, and she did do very, very well on that challenge. So, and again, like we were saying, I still can't work out what the incentive was for winning that challenge as a group, because like, how on earth? Anyway, I still don't get it.
No, makes no sense to me.
Because I don't get how Trixie can give a performance like that and be up for elimination.
Yeah, I know, total rigor mortis, 100%.
Yeah.
See, Marcel's saying Trixie is interesting because she's both sarcastic, self-deprecating, underdog, who also is a confident, successful, popular person. But see, that's the thing. Like, she's not. I wouldn't say she's an underdog. I agree with most of what you're saying, but I wouldn't say she's an underdog at all, because the whole time she's been like, everyone loves me on the outside. So I've got a really successful career. I'm really popular. Blah blah. I don't think she, in this season at all, similar to Milk. I think some similarities can be struck between her and Milk. I think they're both quite arrogant this time around, to be honest. I think they both came from an underdog storyline, and this time they've both been arrogant and quite unlikable in a lot of ways. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a shame. So I do love Trixie's content off the show. And I'm concerned for her that this is going to not properly harm her career, but it could have a detrimental effect on her career potentially. Like, it would have been better for her to not be on the show, I think, potentially.
Because I think she's a queen who, because she's had such a great career off the show, it does seem like, I mean, it's very much rolling the dice to go back on, isn't it? It's kind of, for someone like Chi-Chi, for example, Chi-Chi can show more, and that's something that people want. And she's probably not going to come out a bit badly. Or Aja, yeah, absolutely. Aja's a great example, because Aja, not that she doesn't have anything to lose, but Aja has so much to gain from it. Which is actually why, for example, I'm glad that someone like Shea Coulee wasn't on All Stars 3, because that would be such there'd be such pressure on Shea to completely kill it. Because if Shea got anything other than top 3, it would be seen as, as a step down, really. Yeah. Whereas I feel like, like this is, I mean, it's the redemption season for a reason. I feel like most of the queens who are here have kind of that need. Like, Shangela's been away for a while, and Shangela is probably not going to do too much that's going to absolutely wreck what she has. Whereas, I feel like Trixie, because the nature of her career is so much around her comedy, which she's doing well at. She's doing her own show, she's got her music out, she's got the Viceland show as well. She doesn't need to showcase as much comedy, I wouldn't have thought.
No, exactly. That's the thing. I don't know. I think so. I do really like I said, I do really like her content off the show. And even what she's produced on the show, I really like a lot of. Like, I think retro, but like the Bachelor challenge, like, she would have been my favorite if she had a chance to shine. Like, her intro was my favorite by far. I thought it was really funny. Like, I don't know, things I still like a lot of what she does as her craft, but a lot of Drag Race, the TV show, is about personality and your interactions with the other queens and how you feel about yourself. And again, I think this is why someone like my favorite queens like Adore and Katya, because they are just like underdogs and so likable and so endearing. They're both very self-deprecating, and they're both unsure of themselves. And as soon as that flips, like it has done in Milk and Trixie's instance, where you are confident to the point of arrogance, then it just, although what you're producing might still be good, it's going to make it could still be detrimental to your career potentially.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's one to be really careful of. You kind of, in some ways, need to go on All Stars around the time where people aren't thinking of you as much, and where you've got lots to gain from it, which again is why I was saying Shea shouldn't. I'm really glad that Shea wasn't on All Stars 3, because I feel like she needs to be on something like All Stars 4 and come back and be like, hey, this is why I'm here. It's also why I'd really love to see someone like Ongina come back, because people just need to see her, for example, or kind of other queens who have had a really big chance to develop in some way. Whereas, I feel like, Trixie that was definitely always going to be a gamble. And in some ways, Trixie, anything short of top 3 would have been a pretty big fall down for her in some ways, even though she didn't get that far in her own. She got to top 6 in her own season. I
think so. I agree completely. I hope the best for her. It's good, Omar. I feel like the only other thing I wanted to say is I feel like this is like maybe end on a positive. Is I think it's Rue's best look by a mile this season so far.
I did really like the look, yeah, and plus it added that extra little bit of drama to the because we'll be obviously looking at Rue's face a bit more this episode because of the shock and horror of the reaction to Ben's departure. So it kind of added more. I mean, if you're going to have a face that's going to be used in many memes and pictures for quite a while, for a few weeks initially coming off the event, you want it to be that face, really, don't you?
That's very true. That's very true. She was fuming, wasn't she?
I was trying to work out like if she would have known it in advance. So I mean, I'm glad that Ben did add the whole like this is not a disrespect to you.
I don't think it was, but I know what you mean. But I think they would have told her. I think if it was my show, I wouldn't have wanted to have been told because I would have wanted the reaction to be genuine.
True. Yeah.
So I don't think they would have told her. Yeah. I also think, again, we've talked about it a lot already, but I think, again, I don't think Ben intended it to be disrespectful to Rue.
Yeah.
But I think it was. I think Rue was fuming, and I can understand why. I think it's because, it's sort of what we said earlier. It's like sort of pissing over Drag Race. It's like, even if we all know that, like, as you said, winning the show isn't everything, but you can't, like, have that sort of attitude when you're in the show, because if not, like, the whole show falls to pieces. Like
right.
you have to like abide to the format of Rue set out, where like the crown is literally everything and you're all fighting for the crown, like claws, tooth nails, whatever. And if you're like, nah, I don't give a shit about your fucking crown, like I've already won, peace out bitches, then like it's a slap in the face to Rue. Like I don't know, I think it was very disrespectful, although that wasn't Ben's intent, so I'm not holding back against it necessarily, but
Maybe next week they'll just sit around in kind of like a happy prayer circle and not vote anyone off, and it'll be kind of like Survivor or something, like, and they'll just like stay on the island and just kind of see who eventually just passes out from hunger, and then the winner stands. I don't know. No, sorry, that got dark really quickly.
I'm into it. For it, we started GoFundMe.
But no, I think just generally, like, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out next episode. In many ways, next episode is really going to be quite a defining one for how the rest of this season goes, because now it's the first one without Ben. It's also going to really come down to the wire. I wouldn't be surprised if we lose 2 queens next episode, bring it down to a 3 for the final.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And if 2 do go, I would personally think it would be Morgan.
Kennedy and Morgan.
Yeah.
Kennedy and Morgan, easy.
Yeah. But then at the same time, who knows? I mean, it would feel a bit weird, for example, having Morgan in the top 3, even though it would be fun to shake it up like that.
Yeah, I don't know about that. We'll see what happens. I'm open to anything happening, to be honest. I am saying that I just posted a clip of the Queen's reading Ben's mirror message, and he's gagged. So I want to really want to watch it, but I'm going to save it for the episode so I can write down my thoughts and like do the proper analysis on it. But yeah, so it's going to be good. I'm excited for the next episode for sure. Is there any other aspects of the episode you wanted to go through, or should we award our CUNTs?
I can't think of anything else that stands out. Apart from Emma Bunton being there was kind of fun.
It was, yeah.
I'm really glad that she didn't embarrass herself with a comment about voguing or something. Although I did
that song is so good.
I did want another Adam Joseph track, so I was kind of hoping that someone would say something somewhat ridiculous.
She was.
You never know. Maybe it'll be made out of Trixie's, like, you've never met Trixie Mattel before, or something. I don't know. We'll see.
That is a good idea.
I should be working for Adam Joseph.
Yeah, you should. Tweet him, ask him a job.
I will. That'll obviously work. I've got this one idea. Employ me. Yeah.
I'll beatbox for you. We'll work it out.
Cheers, man. I appreciate it.
It's all right. So guys, okay, you guys know the drill by now. In the comments down below or in the chat, award your CUNTs, charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent to the queens you think deserve them for this episode in particular, and your reasons why. So Bob, who's your charisma this week?
Chi-Chi, of course, because I think like Chi-Chi's whole thing was just like hilarious, and it was so graceful to just be like, literally, don't send me back. Like, I could listen to Chi-Chi say the horse is dead a million times. Just the way the horse is dead, and just the way, like, just such like, I just love it. Anyway, yeah, she's my C.
I was gonna give it to Chi Chi as well for the exact same reason. Like, I'm gonna really miss her so much. She's just so much, even though she's not outstanding, she's just always so. I'm always so happy whenever she's on screen. I don't know.
Yeah.
Uniqueness.
Oh, I'm torn between Milk or Aja for this, but I'm going to give it to Aja because I feel like her part in her team's one was the best from that team, and I think she brought something that I don't think the others in that group brought, so I'm going to go with Aja.
Okay, you might be surprised by this, but I'm going to go with Ben for uniqueness because for him it was extremely unique. And I think it was good of him to do that. Dave is awarding his charisma to Aja, which is understandable. Nerve?
To Ben for that decision. It seems like an obvious one, but yeah.
Why did I not save that for Ben? Damn it.
No, but that's good because now I'm intrigued to see who your N will be instead this time.
Oh God. Okay. There's quite a few I can give it to be honest. I would say maybe Forgy for not apologising to Chandra, because Forgy actually was one of the few people who understood what she did wrong, and she explained what she did, but she didn't apologise for it. And so for me, that took some nerve. Talent. I was going to say obviously for me it's Aja, but
I just realised I used up my Aja already. Damn.
I know. We should plan it out beforehand.
We should really plan this out. I kind of like the spontaneous, like, to and fro with this, even though obviously I don't know why I did that, like I'm some kind of cool rapper. Well, I mean, even the fact that I said cool rapper makes it obviously clear that I'm not.
Whip out one of your best raps for us now.
Oh, I mean, you say best raps. I don't think any of them have reached a level of good or even passable.
Don't undersell yourself. Don't undersell yourself.
Thank you. Obviously, talent goes to BB for dressmaking. No, I'm going to go for. Who can I give that to? Who else is left? Who have I not chosen? Trixie for her part.
Really, I think it was good, but we've seen her do that sort of thing so many times before.
True. Yeah, but I thought it was fun, and yeah, I'll go with that.
Okay, that's fair. Dave's giving his uniqueness to Rue's opinion on BB and nerve to BB. Okay,
that's good.
Who's your talent, David? And yeah, so what? So just talent, Ben. Okay, fine. I'll accept it.
It's fine. You don't have to put up with any more letters for Ben from now on.
Yeah, that's good.
You've been saved.
Good times.
See, Ben de la Christ strikes again.
I know. I'm interested to see. Like, again, like I don't know. I mean, I feel like I've been relatively fair, but I feel like my opinion on him is probably quite harsh. And again, within the context of the show, like, again, I think it's great. I think Ilva Queen's a great gentleman. If I met him in person, I can never do what they do. I think they're all extremely talented and awesome people. But obviously, the whole fun of this is like getting it within like the microcosm of the show and getting into all the drama. But I'm interested to see the community's thoughts on Ben's decision generally. I'm guessing it'd be quite mixed. Because I feel like, again, like his main purpose was he thought it'd be a great career move. I think that's why he made the decision, the primary reason. And so, yeah, I'm interested to see if that's turned out to be the case or not. So, yeah, I know. Again, it'd be good if there's a reunion so we get some sort of like final decision on it.
True, but when would that be? That's why I'm struggling to, unless it was like tacked onto the final. It's because we're really running out of time. I mean, yeah, it's like literally like 3 weeks from now until season 10 starts.
I know, yeah. Unless they combine
2 weeks this Friday,
final, perhaps. I don't know. Master's giving talent to BB's wig for learning to fly. Oh, it's so difficult to watch. I'm flashbacks.
Can we actually talk about the wig thing? Because it's one of those things. Although BB's, it's just like BB's natural hair that she had underneath still had a kind of a look that could still work in like I feel like there was some way that there was some kind of potentially feminine aspect to it. Not like that always has to be the point. I
disagree. I think it was a man's haircut.
I mean, because Grace. Then again, I guess when Grace Jones did it, it was an intentional kind of androgynous look. But anyway, Yeah, I mean, I did also it was just like, it felt a bit weird. And I think it was the fact that she put it back on at the end and it kind of like, cool, here we go, it's back. And I was like, just keep it off at this point. Just like choose one or the other here. Yeah.
But again, it made me feel like she hadn't really watched the show, because anyone knows that Ru absolutely hates it when queens do that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. So it's just a bit of it's an old school trick. It's just, I don't know. It's like it's had its time, you know. It's had its time.
It was yeah, I didn't quite understand it, I have to admit.
No, neither did I. I feel like normally like we'd plug something, but I feel like we only plugged something a few days ago, so people have had enough out of us.
Arja's new song is good. Let's plug that. There we go.
Okay, cool. I'll check it out as soon as the stream finishes. But yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. We'll continue the conversation in the chat down below. And yeah, come back either Friday evening UK time or at the weekend. Or actually, this time seems to have worked out really well for people getting involved in the chat. So maybe we can do it this time. I tell you what, let us know in the chat down below when's best for us to do these streams. The options are Friday evening UK time, Saturday or Sunday daytime at some point, or somewhere in the week in the daytime, like doing that. They're the options. So pretty much whenever. So yeah, just let us know. Do it UK time though, so I can understand, please. And yeah, thanks for joining us. If you want to, subscribe and like the video and share it with people as well. If you know someone who thinks you think might like a video, send them this one. Why not?
Yeah, it's the perfect Christmas, birthday, or Hanukkah gift. It's
or just a Happy Tuesday gift, you know?
Yeah, I mean, people don't celebrate Tuesday enough.
That's a very good point. Let's start with this video, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
There we go. Problem solved. There we go. Like, send that to your local councillors or something. I don't know. Chat bollocks. But there we go. Here's another
outro absolutely dominated. I think we give high five. Yeah. Cool. Right, just join us, guys. Hope you have a good rest of the day, week, and yeah, we'll catch you all very soon. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.